Okay, hi again. Just had a little pause to upload the first half, and so things might have jumped around a bit. So I think I was on this page, and I was just saying that the author of the little children's book, Lauren Child, I think she is, and she does the little characters, like the little girls and boys with, like if they're wearing a top, it's made out of a cut-out piece of, looks like knitted fabric, you know, like a photo of knitted fabric. So quite a nice adaptable idea, I think, could be used in different ways. Okay, so peonies was the other thing that the lady liked, and anemones, purple anemones, which I think I've forgot to mention one earlier. So some nice vintage images. Excuse me. Some nice library pockets, and this is another one of those lovely Cameo stamps. This is like a cow parsley one. They're really prettily done. Some stitching around a lot of the pages. There's a little specimen here. And that's a flip with extra writing space. And this is her little mushroom. I've used some nice papers from first editions, Botanical. No, not the Botanical set. I think I'll have to link that below because it's not. My mind's not working too well at the moment. A quote from Midsummer Night's Dream. Here is one of these little like petal pockets. Here's a little tag. You've seen these little windows before, and I've just used, this is just actually an offcut from one of the pages that needed trimming, so it already had the pretty stitching and one of the windows, so just made a nice little tag out of that. And I've put it here because blue and orange is my favourite colour combo at the moment, and I just like the way the orange comes through the little window behind the blue flower. Oops. Okay, so another specimen here. This is a tuck spot with some cow parsley that I collected this year, and I've stitched around this in 3 different colours to match the flower. Excuse me. And some little vintage cards. This is a very talented artist, Bruno Liljefors, and he does a lot of, well, used to do a lot of wildlife watercolours, and I just love this one of the cow parsley. There is so much detail in these paintings, they're really quite amazing. So that goes in there. There's a little bit of silk ribbon. This graphic is a pretty one from TheOldDesignShop. I think it's like an old postcard. I think it looks like it was like an embossed picture. I must stop saying like so much. A little vintage image. This is from a vintage The Edwardian Lady book. Some more stitching here. And a little dictionary definition, some cards, it's a little cutout from a book with some stamps. I've used this little vintage book cover because of the peonies of Chinese poems, and it's been scanned with the little, I forgot what they're called, the bit that goes over, you know, that thingy. And so I've just used that to make a flap, and there's some pretty seeds in there that I collected. Just some nice shapes, sometimes it's nice to save. This is a book page that I wanted to use for the red fox, and on this side I thought he was quite cute, so I've left him there, and I've just put these three pockets with three little tags so you can put your own thoughts and poems and such on those. This is tracing paper with machine lines here, and on this section I've left as a pocket, and that's another dictionary definition with some more of those Cameo stamps and just some writing space on the back so you can see that from both sides. I've done some more eco dyeing, and I really love how this one came out. This was actually dyed 3 times. I tea dyed it first, kind of roughly, so it wasn't very even, and then it's been through with leaves twice, and I love how it's come out in these beautiful layers. Very kind of rustic and foresty, I think. So I've stamped it with my handcraft stamp, which is also here, on a bit of wax paper, which gives it a different kind of finish. I've just stitched around that for a little tag. There's another little journaling card in there, just an envelope from a book page. And I've just made a little magnet holder thingy there. So I've used this page for the toadstool again. There's some little, you probably can't see that, some little bugs on the strings. A luggage tag tuck, and that's the other side of the eco dye fabric. And I've just left the ends kind of rough and rustic like that. I really love that look. That's another handcraft stamp with a poppy seed head, tracing paper pocket, and I've just used the book page to make a little, that thingy. So that goes in there. And then it's the other side of that little fox watercolour, which I really like. This you can just use as a writing space because it's a kind of even coverage without too much contrast, so that makes quite nice writing area. This is handmade paper, more poems, more writing. This is that idea again with the extra paper. That's a magnet clip there. And then this opens up for a quote and some more graphics and images. There's a little envelope there, and I've done some inked papers just for some extra space and interest there. So that clips shut, and that's that. This is a vintage Hansel and Gretel image that's very beautiful, like some kind of print. I don't know what these are. They might be like woodcutters' prints. Graph paper printed on tracing paper, made into a pocket with a specimen inside, and a nice dictionary tag there. Some stenciling, some stitching round the top of the pages that I just sort of framed that pocket quite nicely as well. So there's tracing paper here, and then there's a second pocket there, so just put lots of bits and pieces. There's another tag with a specimen window in there, and some little leaves on the strings on this one. Just stamped the tracing paper for a kind of a woodland scene. And once again, I'm sorry for all the extra noise upstairs, if you can hear it. If you're watching this part 2 before watching part 1, then you won't know that I've got the plumbers in, so that's what's going on. I've stitched this little woodland, it's a cute little picture. I've just used it because it's owls and she loves owls, and done some stitches around, and then on the back you get a little frame that you can cover up with a pocket or something if you want to, or you can just use it as a frame for something else. Some more vintage books. That's a flower specimen on there. Sorry, I'm just checking the time. I think I'm okay. Some more machine lines. I've left quite a few of the sewing ends for this one. This is another Lil Jaffour's. I've done a little pocket. You've seen these. I normally do them this way, but I've just turned it this time. And there's another little tag. This is wax paper with a flower sample. There's a big pocket here with some quotes, bit of writing space and some collaging. So same again here, I've done this as a kind of 4-page thing. I'm sounding very vague today, aren't I? I'm sorry. My mind is in too many places at the moment. This is a little ink print from a fern leaf from the garden, and some vintage collector's cards again made into a tag. Oh, so yeah, so usually the pockets are this way, so I've just made a tag with black paper. That one's got a magnet. There's 2 bookmarks. Nice crinkly paper made into a pocket here. There's a tiny, is it a book? I can't remember, I think so. Just tied up with twine. There's a owl postage stamp on the front. And a tiny tuck. There's a dictionary for butterfly. A walk in nature walks the soul back home, which was said by Mary Davis, and I've just put that, typed that on that little section here where it's attached to this tracing paper pocket with a skeleton leaf. Hope you can see that. It's another big pocket. There's more owls. This is that lovely idea from ChikUna Lazarus, where she uses fabric that's printed in leaf shapes and cuts them out to make little tucks and pockets, which I think is so clever. I was a little bit, didn't trust this fabric very much, so I have zigzagged it onto paper just to make it less likely to fray too much, because you know how some fabrics, they just want to unravel. This is fussy cut, a peony, like a vintage botanical. It's a postage stamp. There's a lovely poem, more mushrooms. This is Tim Holt's Vellum. I hope you can see how beautifully these colours go together. I put this envelope next to this colour plate from a vintage book. And it has some very subtle grey blues here. I'm not sure if the camera will pick up, but they look just beautiful. That's an envelope. And this is an envelope also. The Lady Loves Dragonfly, so I wanted to use this page. And I've just made it from a book page. I've lined it with vintage dictionary, and I made a buttonhole on the sewing machine and sewed a mother of pearl button, which is not functional, it's just decorative. If you do this, you probably want to strengthen it somehow. I've just put some washi tape on the back to stop the paper tearing, because you're putting a lot of stitches very close together for that. But I think it looks quite a cute little idea. On this side I've done a little tag here with some handmade felt, and I've just cut this into a leaf shape and sewed it onto this journaling card, so there's space to write on the back. Probably make quite a nice bookmark gift, these as well, if you wanted to experiment, you know. So here's one of these little pockets. I've made 2 matching tags with vintage flower book pages. Here's another collectible card. This is, I can't remember what that is. I think it's just paper. And some wax leaf rubbings on there. I made a little pocket here with some stamping on burlap, some cards, more mushrooms there. One of these also inspired by Shayna Lawrence and her beautiful garden book. So she puts these cute little labels inside. I hope you can see that. So acetate with stitching round. I made a wedding card at the weekend. We went to a wedding, and I just put a little tag on that on the front of the card, and it looked very cute. So if you're stuck for ideas, there's one. This is, I'll just move the book for this bit. So another fold out. So we've got pockets here, some tracing paper tags to look like exercise books, pocket, writing space, and then I've made 2 little tags here. This is Catherine's vintage ledger. It wasn't this tiny, that's actually very huge. So I met Catherine recently through my shop and through Instagram, and she's such a lovely, kind lady, and she sent me this gorgeous ledger, which is has all these little notes on it from the what are they called, the Harris Tweed company, and they've got all the tailoring notes and the yardages, and it's really fabulous. So you'll see me using quite a lot more of that. So thank you, Catherine, and hello to you. So some silk here on another vintage page. I've used this one because it's peonies, and done some stitching. I think I'm going to get cut off again any minute, so I'm sorry there's going to be a part 3 of this book. Well, it is 3 things, I guess, so fair dues, but it's taking a bit longer than I hoped. There's a pocket here. I'm just thinking that rather than trying to fight it out with my camera, as I usually do, I'll just give in and go to part 2s and 3s, you know. My son has bought me a gift recently for my anniversary of this beautiful wax seal stamp for my shop, which is Shire Wool on Etsy. So I'm going to be using that in the back of my books. So that's the end, and I hope I just have time to show you the little bits in the back. So she said she was going to kind of stick photos and pictures in. She's not doing too much writing again. So I've put these in. There's some little extra tags and labels, and also she wanted to do some specimen collecting, so that's why I've done these 2 very thick pockets with the concertina edges, so you can really get a lot of stuff in here. And for that I've put some little glassine envelopes. Sorry, I just paused for some more drilling then. So some little glassine envelopes for your collections. And also I've put a couple of these envelopes here which are made of vegetable parchment, and you can put your specimens in here. I believe that this is what they use to protect seed heads, to protect seed heads and flower heads from heavy rain. You know, when you... Sorry. When you want to protect the flowers from heavy rains. So that's what these are for. And I've put a few extra ones there for you. There's this lovely little poem from Hatfield's Herbal Book. And this cute little tag. Where are we? There we are. Which is just clipped on there, and I've done some more stamping and a die cut and a fussy cut. Right, now that's that, and before I go on to the next book, I just had a few little extra bits to show you if time allows. So yes, I was going to show you these tags, but I believe there was one in there, just with the offcuts of the paper with the stitching. So quite a cute little idea. These ones you've seen because... Sorry, yeah, these ones you've seen because... It's like he's upstairs waiting for me to start speaking before he drills. Yeah, because I was talking about ChikUna in my last video. So along those lines I've been experimenting more and developing further, and I've come up with these, and I was quite pleased with how these came out. They're a bit dusty now. So I've done the same thing, acetate, and just separated them into 3, as you can see, and done stitching a couple of times all the way around. And I've just put some little labels. This one is Beauty in Nature, and just 3 random specimens. There's a tiny little label there that says Forget Me Not, and then the words are the same if you glue paper back to back. Then you can see it through the back too. I've done a little brad, so you could attach something like that to a plain greeting card and it would look really pretty. So the same sort of thing here. There's a little loose tag. I've put the notes of where I found these tree seeds, and on there is what kind of tree it is. And this is slightly different with the 3. Just wipe the dust for you. So I've got the flowers in one, seed husks and leaves. So I don't know if you'll see, but the labels say that. And then on the bigger tag it says Forget Me Not. This one I think you'll like. This little fairy is still a Nazi fairy in my head. So a flower fairy, as you can see, and just the same as you've seen me do before, but I've put her this time with the real specimens. So she's got some leaves, she's holding a little flower stalk, and a little bit of glitter in there as well, so I think that looks really pretty. And some forget-me-nots here. And this one, I was really happy with how this came out. If you can see the tiny wings there. I know that Nazi has done fairy wings. I'm not sure what she makes them from. I haven't seen them close up. I'm not sure if that's showing. I hope so, because it looks really pretty. So I've done some glitter. I've done there's some real wings here. I'm not going to tell you where I got them because it will gross you out. But if you are interested, I've made a Latin name for this fairy, and you can probably work it out. Let me just see if I can get the light here, sorry. Is that going to work? Oh dear. There we are. Okay. So there's some real leaves and some fairy fibre. And the way the wings are there, it just makes me look as though the fairy has got surprised and she's just disappeared. And just left the wings behind there for a second. So that came out really cute. I'm just going to pause a sec. Yeah, so that's it for the moment. I think I'm about to get cut off again, so I might as well just go to the next art book will be in a separate video. So all that remains is to say thank you very much for coming, everybody, and I hope you've enjoyed the video so far. Bye.